there's not many folk out there that look like us, and we have to always be aware of that fact. And it's a drag, and it's always something that's hanging over your head, and it's really, it's just, and though you try not to think about it, you have to, because we ran into situations with people where we were out there, just us, and we were just surrounded by folk who, didn't look too friendly, and we had to be prepared to do whatever we had to do to get out of there. So we always have to factor those things in, even when traveling to a trail. 9 times out of 10, you're going to take back roads, and those back roads, of course, not going to be a lot of people. And like we went to Tennessee about a month or so ago. I don't know, we got lost in some little town back there, and though I had to get gas, and we wanted to stop and get something to eat, we didn't do those things. We waited until we got somewhere else to avoid any problems, because we know the problem is coming.
Do you feel like you're in a place where there's just some backwoods hicks that are going to start something? Is that the idea?
I mean, even that's what our thoughts. Even if it's not the case, we have to be aware of these things. These things can happen.
When is the last time that it has happened to you?
Well, we had a little incident. We were on the trail. This was last week, and we were here locally. And
in Georgia, you're in Georgia, by the way, for listeners.
Yeah. We were walking, and we came past this campsite. It was a guy, and I guess it was his son, and it was 2 boys. I guess they were his sons. They were kind of young. I'd say about 10 or 11, somewhere in there. And the boy, I don't think he thought that we could hear him. He maybe didn't even care. But he said he looked up at his father and said, whatever he said. I didn't know.
You playing Sonic in the background? You playing Sonic?
I don't hear anything.
I thought I heard somebody collecting rings on Sonic.
No, I don't know what that is. No.
Let him tell his story. What did he say?
Sorry.
He said whatever name he said. I didn't know N-words hiked.
Hiked. Wow. Okay.
Well,
my goodness.
Like there is a real dearth of, as I understand it, NPR did a story that there's very few black people that use the national park system. Now, it's a crappy way to put it. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, sort of
it's unlikely the 10-year-old had been reading NPR.
Agreed.
Yeah. It fell out of his mouth like it was common. It was just something you
right.
say.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think you're actually that point is absolutely on par. Like apparently this family doesn't have a problem with using that terminology. A word that my son has never heard is apparently common in their family.
It's interesting. We had a gentleman on the show who was he was in charge of the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Kendall, I believe was his name. And he was a black guy from Dallas or Houston, I forget which, but Texas, somewhere in Texas.
I heard him. Yeah, I heard him on the show.
Yeah, I thought it was a good interview, and I was surprised when he said that he has experienced less racism up in the Northeast, where here in New Hampshire, there's almost no black people, and that he is experiencing less of it here, or has experienced next to none. Here compared to when he was living down south.
That doesn't surprise me. He was in the South.
Okay, but I mean, I've heard that this is supposed to be a racist place, as far as people here haven't even seen black people.
That means that's unfamiliarity. That's not racism.
And that's what it turned out that it was. Like I said before, I talked to a guy who had lived and grown up here, was like the token black guy at the high school.
If I went to
Keene, and that's what he said, was that it was just people, they didn't know how to handle it. It wasn't that they were bigoted or racist.
I just can't. That's just not acceptable to me. I just don't. Couldn't tell me that. I just don't believe that. I just couldn't accept that.
What, that there's less racism?
Well, that's what a black guy told me. So
unfamiliarity. I just no.
Well,
you couldn't.
If I went to, I'd be happy to hold on to.
Hang on.
Like if I went to Africa to visit the orphanage that we're building there, and people wanted to touch my hair or feel my skin, I wouldn't feel like that was racism. I would feel like that was unfamiliarity, and it wouldn't bother me particularly. But I'd like to hear your reaction to that.
All right, there's more coming up here in moments. 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts. This is Free Talk Live.
Tyler, time to go for our family walk.
Just let me nap a little longer.
You promised we'd get more active.
I know. How come you're so ready to go?
It's Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where'd you get them?
I ordered them from superberries.com/radio, and right now we can get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus, we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait to try them. I'll get the dog.
I'll get the kids.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial in toll-free and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
We've got Skype, and you can Skype in here at Skype username LRN.FM. We started out talking about Independence Day. It is Independence Day Eve as we're doing this show, and we're going to get back into that. Mark, you wanted to actually read the Declaration of Independence. If we get a chance, we'll dig into some of that. But first,
healthcare is all messed up here in this country. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health. And
the government will make that happen.
Yeah, right. They'll fix that here shortly. But
that's sarcasm.
Yeah, that's it. They're not going to do that. And if you're worried about that particular instance, you can withdraw yourself from the insurance industry. There's a free market healthcare company that can give you freedom from health insurance legally. It's called healthexcellenceselect.com. They give you a proactive health assessment daily if you're looking for that. No charge, 24-hour access to doctors, a medical information card that you can give to EMS or first responders, the emergency room, or whatever medical profession you want. The list of features that they have at healthexcellenceselect.com for as little as, I believe it's less than $600 a month for a family, and it goes down from there for couples and singles. So check them out. Please. By the way, any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, if you pay for your own health insurance, you really need to go to healthexcellenceselect.com. Again, it's healthexcellenceselect.com. And if, whatever period that you're allowed to get insurance is open or closed or whatever, it doesn't matter. healthexcellenceselect.com.
Let's go back to Hung Like Jesus. He is calling us from Georgia and telling us about kind of what it's like just going out on a hike as a black man, and I presume your girlfriend is also black?
Yeah, she's black as well.
And you were on a hike recently where some kid, like 10 years old, said over, in a loud tone to where you were able to hear it as you had passed by a campsite or whatever where they were set up. Something about the N-word. You couldn't believe that they walk to or that they hike.
I think
something like that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And so you feel like you have to sort of steel yourself when you go out to do these things in public, is what you're saying?
Well, I don't know what steel myself means. You just have to be aware of these things. We really can't afford just to be happy-go-lucky. We can't afford to have our guards down when we're out on the trail. I'm talking.
Do you carry something to protect yourself with?
Oh yes, we're both licensed.
Concealed carry permit holders?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for your service. So, in that instance, other than sort of, carrying that, can't you be happy-go-lucky and be a concealed carry permit holder? I know these people. I've heard of them.
Well, I guess you can. That's just not my nature.
You can. It's not. But if you're in a dangerous situation, it's a bad idea because even if you're carrying, you don't want to be completely. I'm just going to walk around oblivious because I got a Glock, so that makes it okay. Like that's not really how that works.
You still have to have situational awareness.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Also, it's just things you pick up. The way you carry yourself. If you carry yourself like a victim, then you'll be treated like one.
That's true. That's true.
100%.
I just don't carry myself that way. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I get where you're coming from.
I don't walk around waving the gun around. I don't do that.
No, that's a bad idea.
I don't want any problems, and I avoid them as best I can.
Right. I think to some extent, a lot of people are that way. Whether whatever the skin color is, when they're taking the family, taking their family out or something like that to some campground, they might be concerned for theft or possible.
Okay, but I would much rather be a white man in Georgia than a black man in Georgia.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, and that to me is how I sort of define white privilege. And I'm willing to say that it exists. I mean, what situation would you prefer to be in? And ask folks to walk in someone else's shoes.
Right.
I think that the term gets abused. I think that it gets used for shaming and those kind of things. But I think that it's there's value to it at the same time. So let me ask you this, Hung Like Jesus. Do you think that this?
I'm going to tell you my real name too one day.
What's that?
He said he'll tell you the real name.
My real name too. When I feel silly talking about a serious subject, and he called me that.
It's fine.
That's his name on Skype, by the way. We didn't
I
make that
believe I
up.
have his real name, by the way.
Yeah, you have it.
I'd have to look it up because I don't try to memorize.
Yeah.
I try to memorize your on-air name, just like
Yeah, you don't want to screw up and say the real name.
That would be the professional thing to do. I did that one time with a friend who called in and was trying to use a pseudonym, and I'm like, Matt Woody. She yelled his name. So anyway, do you think that this kind of this way that you've had to sort of prepare yourself for the world, that kind of thing, creates a barrier between you and people who could otherwise be friends and hiking buddies and those kind of things? Do you feel like that?
Are you missing out?
Yeah, it causes you to miss out.
Most definitely, but it's just just the casualty of being an American, I guess. Definitely you miss out on things because you're so guarded all the time, and you have to be. I just come to that conclusion. I just have to be, and of course I'd probably miss out on some good conversations or whatever. But it's just you gotta take the good with the bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Now you had said before we went over to break that I was giving the example of sort of the fish out of water scenario, or the unusual circumstances where, like I was talking about this black gentleman that was here in Keene, New Hampshire, where there's almost no black people, and he was the token black guy in the high school, and I asked him,
well, he's not token. He lives here.
What? Okay, I figured
well, it's not
token.
like they brought him in.
I get what
that term is loaded.
Okay. Well, anyway, you get what I'm saying.
I'm sorry,
he was
I didn't
the
hear
one
what Hung
guy.
said.
He was the one black guy.
I understand. I didn't hear what Hung said. What?
And I said that even that term is loaded. It's just part of our lives here.
Right. So a token, by its definition, is somebody who's specifically brought in to say, look, we got ourselves a black guy, right? And that's different than, somebody who moved to Keene, New Hampshire to go to and happens to go to the high school. That's not the right terminology. He may have used that term, but it's not used
I don't know
properly.
if he used that term.
Okay.
I was using the term, but
All right, then you gotta
anyway.
watch that term.
The point was he was the only one in the entire school, and his assessment was that it wasn't the reactions that he got wasn't due to racism, that he felt that it was due to the unfamiliarity that Mark was talking about, sort of that these people had only, if they'd seen black people, it was only on television at some point, that they had never actually seen a black person in real life, and that somehow affected people as it may have affected a tribe of black people in Africa when some white Christian guy showed up for the first time ever.
It would most definitely affect any
weird.
civilization when some random white Christian guy showed up and started loading people on the boat. Yes, that
if
absolutely
only they knew how it was
someone.
going to affect them.
But listen, I have a friend of mine, a coworker of mine who's from Sierra Leone, and I put him through the same example. I said, if I went to your village where you were, and well, not necessarily a village. I went to Freetown. That's the
capital.
Capital, yeah.
And I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth closed, and we were together. I said they wouldn't know they would think I was just another Sierra Leonean walking through the streets. He said no, they would know that you weren't from here.
How?
And they would be curious about where you were from, and they would question you. I don't know. He said this is the way I carry myself, the way I dress. I don't know what it is.
I can tell.
Well, I mean,
generally,
I would
a
feel
West
like you
African.
could tell.
When I look at one, I don't know why. And I met a guy who was from Liberia like 3 or 4 days ago. So he greeted me as I was getting out of my car. I said, "Are you from West Africa?" And he said he sure is. And we had a 20-minute conversation about his mining business and these kind of things.
Where
He's
was
showing
this?
pictures. This is Mike's Auto.
Oh, wow.
I had a really great time talking to him. Got his email address, and we've been kind of sending him stuff back and forth.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry for bringing the show down, but you were talking about Philando Castile most of last week, and we were talking about it with my girlfriend and I as well. And we're just to the point now where you can murder us on film, and still.
It's horrible what happened with Philando Castile. Hung Like Jesus, thank you for the call tonight.
Yeah.
Appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733.
I like to approach the Philando Castile situation as a concealed carry permit holder because that's what he was. He was a guy who went through the process, and concealed carry permit holders like Hung Like Jesus are less likely to commit a crime than a police officer, according to a new article that's out.
There's more coming up. You can join us here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
I've discovered the next big thing on the internet. Symbi.com is a symbiotic economy with its own currency where people trade services virtually and locally. Forget the old economy. This is your economy. Symbi.com is slick to use and is backed by the same people that helped launch Reddit and Airbnb. I'm not kidding when I say this is the next big thing. Trust me. Go get an account at Symbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Symbi, Simbi.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Thousands of outraged meth addicts urged the federal government this week to address the nation's growing spider epidemic. During a marathon 72-hour meeting under the Roosevelt Bridge Monday, tweakers from across the nation drafted a 45,000-word proposal to kill all the acid-shooting spiders before they develop the powers of mind control or, God forbid, flight.
We can't grow the spiders any longer. The government has to... There's a spider there!
The addicts have agreed that the best temporary solution would be for the government to issue them large quantities of methamphetamine and steel wool. A local daddy was put in his bye-bye box Tuesday so that he could go on a long vacation with the birds and clouds in the sky. The daddy, who was once tall and strong and liked going to the hospital to play with their fun machines, was reportedly put in the bye-bye box after weeks of being sleepy all the time and never finishing his din-din. Family had come in from all over to watch daddy get dropped inside a cool underground fort full of dirt and sand, where he'll be tonight instead of being home to play Chutes and Ladders.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, the Independence Day Eve edition of the show. You can join us here and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have the new Free Talk Live forum that a few people have been registered for, and you can try it out for yourself over at forum.freetalklive.com. Listeners interacting with one another and some of the hosts on the Free Talk Live forum, which is part of the larger Shire forums.
I just posted there today.
Excellent. So once again, forum.freetalklive.com. As we continue here, of course, you can take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. We were talking about independence there earlier in the show tonight, it being Independence Day Eve right now.
Good job, Ian.
Huh?
You got it right.
Yes, thank you. I got it right at the beginning portion of the segment as well.
Segment?
Yes,
this segment didn't just begin?
Before you congratulated me. Okay. I'd already gotten it right once. Right. But thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, you can. We got the terrible news about the child in Great Britain that is going to have its life support pulled thanks to a court's decision. We'll tell you about that coming up.
Too bad they don't have guns in Great Britain.
What would you do with a gun in Great Britain to get your child? Like, presuming you're in the space, the situation the mother is of this child. Ian, briefly, the child is.
All right, well, we can get into it then.
Is deathly ill, likely to die.
Yep.
They want to take him to the United States where he will be treated and likely live. Not a whole long time, but longer. And
and they'd raised money to do that.
And they've raised the money.
$1.5 million, I think.
Essentially, the UK government, presumably because they don't want their NHS or whatever it is to look bad, but for whatever reason, the UK government will not
because they look great right now.
Right, will not let the family take their child to the United States and pay for the flight, the treatment, and everything because they, I don't know, own the kid or something.
It's crazy.
In that situation, presuming you're the mother, Melanie, and you have a handgun, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'm not saying she has a great shot, but right now her odds are 0 out of 0.
Agreed. I think that her odds are...
So if you have a bad shot and you're gonna die if you don't take it, you take the bad shot, and if you miss, you lose. But if you don't take it, you die.
I think they're better off. She's better off faking a seizure in the hallway as her husband runs away with the child.
As opposed to pointing a gun at somebody.
I'm also kind of presuming that the cops are not going to die. I mean, not the cops. The cops are, but the doctors are not going to die over this, right? Like the doctors are like, oh, look, I have a gun. Over. Like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like,
they'll let you take the kid, but at some point or another, the police are going to catch you. Like the thing is you're not going to be able to get on a commercial airliner, no matter what you do. Whether you, surreptitiously kidnap your kid from the government. I'm not exactly sure how to talk about this. There's no solution here.
Is there another way off that island? Is there like a bridge?
There's the tunnel.
There's the tunnel.
Yeah, okay.
You could certainly drive across it, but you have to go through a customs situation. Here's what I say. You have to find a friend with a yacht, and you're going to have to take that yacht across the ocean to the United States, hoping your child survives the, let's call it, 2-week passage, 10-day passage.
Like a long time.
10-day passage. It's not good. It's not good.
Bad.
It basically, the best thing that we can do as the press is point out over and over again that the United Kingdom decided to kill this child for its honor of its national health care system.
WashingtonPost.com reporting that British courts decided that Charlie, that's the little boy's name, he's 10 months old, should be allowed to die after a heartbreaking legal battle in which doctors asserted the child had no chance of survival. And Charlie's parents...
Do any of us have a chance of survival? Like, that's the thing.
Depends on for how long.
It's true that Charlie is going to die, and he's probably going to die in the next 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
But the parents have raised the money to be able to extend his life to some extent. And I believe that that's all any of us are doing here is trying to preserve our life a bit longer. So I think that they should have the freedom to do that. And it's ridiculous to think otherwise. Go ahead.
The case was taken all the way to the European court, and by the way, these doctors say the child has no chance of survival. The parents argued that there was an experimental treatment in the U.S. that they had not yet tried, and they wanted to. The case was then taken all the way to the European Court of Human Rights, which declined to hear the case on Tuesday, which was last week, upholding previous court rulings in that it was Charlie's best interest, they say, to withdraw his life support. So I'm not sure how exactly it's in his best interest to kill him. That's an interesting claim.
Well, I guess the claim would be that he does not suffer any longer. Now, I have
except for when they pull the life support and he suffers.
I've heard from a friend in the UK who has some disabilities, and she's against the idea of euthanasia generally, like completely. And the reason is that her concern is that that the government will decide who lives and who dies as soon as you give them the power.
But they already have that power.
Well, apparently they do.
Yeah.
Right. But Great Britain doesn't have the death penalty.
Euthanasia is a little bit beyond pulling life supports.
Sure, euthanasia is killing somebody, right?
Right. So they already have the power to pull life support. They don't yet, as far as I know, have the power to actively kill you. I mean, except for this kid.
This is, this isn't exactly pulling life support. This is
that's what they say is going to happen.
Denying a treatment.
Well, they're actually talking about pulling
both of those things.
Yeah, they're actually talking about pulling that as well here. A British couple has been given a little bit more time with their terminally ill son after the emotional court battle and the uproar over when and where Charlie Gard would be disconnected from the machines that are helping keep him alive. So They are going to, at some point here, pull the plug. But they have decided to – they were planning on doing it on Friday, but they've decided to postpone it Not sure exactly for how long. But that's the end of the line as far as the court appeals are concerned. They went to the Human Rights Tribunal or whatever, and they said, nope, we're just going to back the UK government on their decision to allow this child to die and do nothing to help. And, of course, people think that the government...
They're not allowing him to die. They're killing him.
Sure.
Because there's a difference between not providing health care, although I do think that gets different once you monopolize it, and denying someone health care that they already purchased.
Well, that's the thing. You paid taxes, but that's not exactly buying health care.
Well, no, I'm talking about they went and raised the money and they have...
okay, yeah. Well, I don't know.
Like, they're holding him prisoner. It just happens to be in a hospital.
The parents said the hospital would not give them time to let family members say goodbye. Charlie's parents appeared on video Thursday, sobbing and saying their son would be removed from life support and take his last breaths at the hospital. His mother said, quote, or one of them, excuse me, Chris Gard, actually, his father said, quote, he'd fight to the very end, but we're not allowed to fight for him anymore. We can't even take our own son home to die. It's a pretty sad thing.
Yeah,
he's literally a prisoner, a little captive in this government-run hospital. On Friday, Yates told the Daily Mail, that's Connie Yates, the mother, that the hospital had agreed to the parents' request to give them a little bit more time. Quote, we've been in talks today with Great Ormond Street, and they have agreed to give us a little bit more time with Charlie. We're really grateful for all the support from the public at this extremely difficult time. We're making precious memories that we can treasure forever with very heavy hearts. Please respect our privacy while we prepare to say the final goodbye to our son, Charlie. I mean, imagine how hard that's got to be to not only be dealing with the fact that your son is going to be basically put to death by the government at 10 months old, but also to have all of this media attention, all of the whatever social media that is just raining down upon them. You know how the social media posts can be, the YouTube commenters, and I'm sure there's plenty of support, but there are probably a bunch of government sycophants out there who are...
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, just saying, oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know what sort of horrible things you could possibly say to these people, but I'm sure the YouTube commenters can think up some horrible things to say to this family. So, it's got to be tough to deal with that in that circumstance. The option they said, or one option the couple said, was to let Charlie die at home. Charlie's parents said...
That does seem like a reasonable option to me.
Said, so, quote, we chose to take Charlie home to die, and we have said this for months that this is what we want. That's our last wish if it went this way, the way it's gone. And we've promised our little boy every single day that we will take him home because that's the promise we thought we could keep. Charlie's father in the video said they wanted to take their son home, give him a bath, cuddle with him on the couch, and let him rest in a crib that he has never slept in.
Yeah.
Gard said, quote, we're now being denied that. So they asked, and the hospital said no. The hospital personnel told them they could not arrange transport for Charlie, and when the parents offered to pay for it, the parents said the hospital personnel told them that was not an option. When asked about those claims, spokesbureaucrat for the Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children, NHS Foundation Trust, said in a statement, quote, as with all of our patients, we are not able to, and nor will we discuss the specifics of details of care. This is a very distressing situation for Charlie's parents and all of the staff involved, and our focus remains with them. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts on this tragedy. Hour number 2 is coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
You have probably heard about Bitcoin and virtual currencies, but you don't really know what to do next. Maybe you feel like they have already passed you by. Nothing could be further from the truth. Bitcoin is an emergent technology still. It's still in beta, and it is sweeping the globe. All the information that you need to learn about Bitcoin is at Bitcoin.com. Go to your browser, type in Bitcoin.com, choose a wallet program, get Bitcoins, and then spend Bitcoins. Bitcoin.com, the only site you need to know for virtual currencies. Bitcoin.com.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, July 3rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,232 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,507. Antiwar.com reports fighting between Syrian forces and rebels along the Jordanian border saw some cross-border fire when, during the Syrian military airstrikes against the rebels, 3 of the missiles flew wide of the conflict and landed inside Jordanian territory. Rebels control the border crossing on the Syria side in the Daraa province. The Jordanian military confirmed the incident, saying that the 3 missiles fell inside of their territory and caused a small fire. A local Jordanian government Facebook page claimed a doctor was slightly injured in the situation as well, but did not say how. Jordan has hosted some U.S. arming and training of Syrian rebels, but has for the most part tried to stay out of the war. This was comparatively easy when the region along the border was completely rebel-dominated, but is getting harder and harder to pull off as the Syrian government aims to recover its southernmost territory. Though there are still substantial rebel presences in the Daraa province, which is where the civil war started all those years ago, the largest rebel strongholds in the country are now exclusively in the north. As the government tries to reclaim the south, it's going to risk putting a lot of fighting right along the border. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was photographed at the beach just days after closing them to the public due to a state government shutdown over the budget. New Jersey Advanced Media took aerial photos of the governor on the beach with his family outside of the state-funded governor residence at Island Beach State Park. When asked if he got any sun at a press conference on Sunday, Christie said he did not, but he later clarified his statement and said he was going back and forth between the beach residence and the state capitol in Trenton. Reporters asked Christie why he should be allowed to visit the beach when it's closed for everybody else. He answered, "That's because the governor has a residence at Island Beach. Others don't. It's just the way it goes. Run for governor, and you can have the residence." More than 50 state parks, historic sites, and recreational areas, including beaches, were ordered closed by Christie on June 30th due to a state budget disagreement between him and the state assembly. The closures are expected to remain until after the July 4th holiday. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports an Amtrak train with more than 250 people aboard derailed on Sunday near Puget Sound in Washington state, injuring several passengers, although no one was believed to have been seriously hurt, according to local fire officials and the rail service. Amtrak said the locomotive and baggage car of train 506 on the Amtrak Cascades lane, running between Vancouver, British Columbia and Eugene, Oregon, left the tracks at Chambers Bay Bridge just south of Tacoma. The West Pierce Fire and Rescue Department said the first 4 cars of the 15-car northbound train derailed. Images of the wreck posted by local media showed the engine lying on its side a short distance from the shore of Puget Sound near Chambers Bay Marina. Amtrak said in a statement the cause of the accident was still under investigation. Several of the 267 passengers on the train suffered minor injuries, but no casualties were reported and nothing serious, and none of the crew were hurt, according to Amtrak. The fire department said there were no significant injuries or fire during the incident. Amtrak said all passengers were evacuated and emergency responders were on the scene, adding that travelers were being provided with alternative transportation. Seattle area news outlet Como News reported that authorities dispatched rescue boats and a dive team to the area as a precaution, but there was no indication that anyone ended up in the water. Firefighters also deployed floating oil-absorbent booms in the water in case of a fuel spill, but none occurred, according to the fire department. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
So, Shelby, let's start with you. You say that our bogs and marshes should actually be paved over.
That's right. Absolutely, Brooke. These things are nothing but dead body dumping pits that make life easy for murderers. And it's disgusting to me that sickos like Mr. Popkin actually want to protect these things.
All right. Well, Mr. Popkin, how do you respond to this?
Bogs and marshes are important ecosystems that should be protected. I mean, they're already being endangered.
Whoa, excuse me. As long as these human landfills remain open for business, what we're essentially saying to the criminal element is, sure, do whatever you like, and throw the evidence here in this federally protected black hole.
I testified before Senator Chuck Grassley, who wanted to lift federal protection on these lands, and what I told him is exactly what I'm going to tell you now.
And where is Chuck Grassley right now, sir? Could it be that he's sitting at the bottom of a bog somewhere? Why else would you be so hot on these wetlands if you aren't a murderer yourself?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We're talking about some of the problems of socialist medicine, specifically dead babies. In the case of Charlie Gard, he is the 10-month-old who is going to be dying very soon because the government has decided that he should. And it doesn't matter what the parents want. It doesn't matter that the parents have raised $1.5 million on a GoFundMe or something like that to help pay for an experimental treatment for young Charlie in the United States. They're not allowed to even take him home to die, let alone take him across the world to the U.S. for an experimental treatment. Why is that? Well, Mark, you speculated that it's because they don't want to look bad, but of course they look terrible.
But they don't look as bad as they would if the state saved him with money and they couldn't.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're worried about, is they're worried that the United States doctor that wants to try this experimental medication or treatment or whatever it is might be successful.
Right. I think that to some extent, in Great Britain, they have the NHS, right? So they have
National Health Service.
Full-on single-payer health care.
Yep, even dental. Which
means to some extent that the state decides who lives and who dies. Right?
Yes.
Like you've got to, as a citizen of the UK, you've got to accept that the state decides when you live and when you die based on how much treatment they're willing to give you and some kind of cost-benefit analysis that they're willing to throw out there.
In this case, it was a judge. In a socialist medicine environment, ultimately it is a man in a robe who has really no idea what he's doing as far as, medical care is concerned. The man in the robe will be the person who decides whether your child lives or dies. That's what this really boils down to. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with what the doctors think. It doesn't have anything to do with what the parents think. It doesn't have anything to do, because maybe the doctors agree with the state. Certainly the state doctors agree, but the doctors in the U.S. think there's a chance.
Some doctors agree and doctors disagree.
Right.
But this is
as a patient should be able to pick the doctor that you like, the best.
This is how a bureaucracy gains its own consciousness, right? So, the people in the UK have decided to some extent that they're going to allow the government to decide who lives and dies. So therefore, the doctors there are going to think the same way. The doctor's going to be like, well, the doctor had to make a call. The call's right because we don't want them to have to live with the notion that they murdered a small baby for nothing. And we're certainly not going to let some yank do some experimental treatment, show that they could possibly save this child, and then show everybody in the United Kingdom that, hey, the cost-benefit analysis is real, and you die when we say you die, because that's what it does. Now, I'm not saying that this treatment would work. I think it's a gamble.
Of course.
But are you going to let somebody gamble with what is yours? Right? Like, so you say you've got $1,000 in the bank. Are you going to let somebody roll a dice, two dice, and say, if you get snake eyes, you get to take this $1,000, but if you don't get snake eyes, I get nothing? That's how the government has to look at this situation. Why? Because you're theirs. They claim you body and soul. And therefore, if they let you go, and in this case of Charlie here, if he gets some kind of treatment that saves him, it shakes the whole foundation
it makes
of what
their
they
doctors
do.
look bad. It makes their experts or purported experts look bad.
If they let him die, they're letting one kid die. If they let him go to the States and he lives, then they're letting however many people live in Great Britain die. So, and this is kind of due to the interpretation of the people who are going to be reading these stories. They look worse, admitting that they can't run a healthcare system than they do killing a kid.
Yeah. Is their decision really based on what they think is medically the best option, or does it have to do with the cost? Does it have to do with the fact that they have obviously a limited amount of money that they can spend in this healthcare system, this government one-size-fits-all healthcare system, and that ultimately they want to decide to spend that money on people that are going to be more likely to, let's say, earn tax dollars for the government, right? Are they going to spend, let's say it costs $1 million to give this kid another 5 years worth of life? And I don't know what the extent.
Really expensive, and every person would have to make the cost-benefit analysis for themselves and their family, and I'm sure it would be terrible.
Sure, but in this case, this isn't the family that gets to decide. It's the government that's deciding this, and so that's what the scariest part is, where it doesn't matter to them that this is your child, that this is the most important thing in your life, because that's what all parents say, right? Is like their kid's the most
It's
important
the truth. I mean,
that
they don't say it for no reason at all. Now, what's it like when they have two? I don't know.
Well, then it's half as important. Each child is half as important. Right?
I don't think that that's the mathematics that they're going to agree with.
They won't admit it, but yeah, you can only spend so much time on them. So anyway, then you're leaving it up to these bureaucrats to make the decision on how this money is spent, and you shouldn't be surprised when they're going to choose the 30-year-old over the 10-month-old, or they choose the 25-year-old over the 78-year-old. They're going to put the money in the places that give them the best return on their so-called investment. Now, certainly the government is terrible at determining prices and, responding to market.
They're not that terrible at it.
Right. And
they're terrible, but they're not so terrible that they can't tell the difference between a 10-year-old and a 30-year-old.
They know where their bread is buttered, and the bread is buttered in this case by the people who pay into the system. Those are the most valuable people to fix to the government. Whereas with a family, the most valuable person is your family member. And, most of these families will do almost anything. They'll do whatever it takes. In this case, some wonderful, generous people stepped up and contributed a tremendous amount of money to help out. And all that money's just sitting there. It's just nothing's going to happen with it. It'll probably end up being refunded, or maybe they'll get to keep it for a nice funeral at this point.
No, it's funerals, in my opinion, in many ways are a shocking waste of money. But
I wouldn't do that either. But what else are you going to do with it now? You got a $1.5 million.
I mean, therapy and drugs at this point.
They could start some sort of maybe a foundation or something like that, or use the money to move the hell out of the UK. That's what I would do. Get out of there. If you're going to have another kid,
I'd run a media campaign that showed exactly what the government did to my kid.
Yeah, great point. Toll-free number tonight, 855.
But I don't imagine you could buy a commercial on BBC One.
Right, for that topic. So 855-450 free like freedom. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Stefan in Ohio, he's on Skype. Hello, Stefan.
This is a really sad story to hear about Charlie Gard. In fact, I believe today, or maybe yesterday it was, both the president and Pope Francis offered help, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I suppose this is one of the examples of how universal health care is basically just a monopoly for one insurance agency. You know, these people say, we're against monopolies, a lot of these left-leaning socialists, but then they have no problem when the government has a monopoly over insurance.
Well, it's a little beyond a monopoly, because so if I live somewhere where Comcast has a monopoly on cable, I can just choose not to have cable, which is what I've done since I was 18, because cable companies, largely due to their being a monopoly, are really horribly run. You can't really do that with healthcare, both for practical reasons and in this case, because they're going to kill you anyway. So it's a little bit beyond a monopoly.
And I've always thought that insurance itself was a scam, in my opinion. I always thought it would be better if we just paid our doctors directly with cash, because if they couldn't get these large amounts of money from insurance companies, prices would automatically have to come down. A lot of hospitals, for example,
health insurance is kind of misrun. Health insurance in the States, at least, doesn't really it's more of a prepaid plan than it is insurance in large part. So health insurance, true insurance, would cover if you got in a car accident, if you caught cancer, if insurance is for non-certain events. Going to an annual checkup isn't really an insurable event, but it's used that way largely because of the tax code.
Yeah, I think also for me, if I was looking for insurance in that area, it would be for something catastrophic. You know, I buy automobile insurance not to handle windshield wipers, oil changes, gasoline, nicks and bumps and things like that.
That brings the premiums up quite a bit. It brings the monthly amount you pay up a lot when you do that stuff.
Right.
The full coverage. Or whatever.
Sure. The full coverage.
Yeah. Hey, Stefan, stand by. I'm not sure if you got to all of your thoughts. We'll continue here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. And we do have some good news here tonight as well. You can share what you want. 855-450-FREE like freedom. And what about grants for churches? That's what Melanie's going to tell us about coming up.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free. Join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and you can Skype on in here. Bring up whatever you want. At Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And we're going to continue here. We'll, of course, take your calls and thoughts. Mark, you have an update. It's been maybe a week or two since we've heard anything new out of the plan that is afoot to build an orphanage for some, 40 children in
about 45
Uganda?
Jinja,
Uganda?
Yeah, that's the sort of the state, like Kamunga or something like that is the name of the town.
Okay.
It's right there on the edges of Lake Victoria or Lake Tanganyika, depending on how you want to call it. And it is, a place that's had lots of problems with things like war and AIDS and Ebola and a whole variety of things that would cause children to be abandoned or, their parents die or whatever the things might happen. And there are a whole lot of orphans in Uganda. It's a very young country, statistically. And these kids need a place to stay. They've been up to this point and currently staying in sort of a large room, sleeping on the floor on mats, no electricity in the room, and I can't even imagine what it's like when one of them has to go pee in the middle of the night. And then they got to get up in the morning and go to school, and that's very difficult. So I've been working with this guy, Ndufuna Johnson, to be able to build an orphanage there. Spent a lot of time checking him out just to make sure that everything's sort of on the up and up. And some really great co-sponsors came along. GetSell411.com and Jaxx, JAXX.io. Both have offered to match whichever funds people...
Double matching.
Yeah, so it's double matching. So essentially you give $1 and that dollar turns into $3.
Yeah.
And I think what they want to see, what I want to see, which is essentially people believe in this the way that they do. Like, sort of wanting to do it as a group thing. Let's all of us do this. And so up to this point, we've raised $11,000 out of the about $25,000 that we're going to need to raise.
Does that include the matching, the $11,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
That includes the matching. That's what I've sent over there. And I've done it all in Bitcoin. It's all been sent over there in Bitcoin. And
that makes it easy.
It does. It really is very easy to
And
send.
they've got somebody who's cashing it out into whatever the local currency is if they
Right,
need
shillings. At this point, the hardware stores there aren't taking Bitcoin, at least not entirely. They, as I understand, they have done some payments in some ways, but they have some restrictions. Anyway, they've got the full first floor up. They've got the sort of the flooring for the second floor. Then they're going to put the roof and the walls in. It's going to be great. The kids each of them is going to have a bed. They're going to have a foot locker or a box or a closet kind of situation, depending on their age and all that, and where they are in the orphanage. And there's going to be sinks and showers. Everybody's going to be able to get washed up to go to school. At this point, they've just recently got their workbooks for school. They also got their shoes. They get a pair of used shoes every year for school, and it's been really great. I mean, things are going along nicely. I just sent another payment as far as getting, the materials, the concrete, the iron bars, and all that stuff. And I'm trying to raise for the next go around. It's probably going to be another $2,500 or so. I'm going to need to send. That's the goal? Yep.
Okay.
So, please go to hope.freetalklive.com. Every dollar that you give, whether it's, $10, $50, or wow, we had a $500 one the last go-round, and that's really great. Makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Sure
right?
Does. Thanks for the generosity.
Right, and I think that, for me, what I want to say about that is if you have the ability to give $500, thank you so much. But if your ability is to give $50, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's important too.
Right? Like, it's whatever it is, you're giving what you can. You're participating. Yeah. And that's what's important to me on this. We're going to get these kids in an orphanage, and we're going to do it because people are willing to help.
And thank goodness, the Ugandan government's not standing in the way like the UK government is.
Just a little bit.
What's going on with that?
There's been some permits and stuff that he's got to pay money for permits to build an orphanage.
Yeah, but paying a bribe's a whole lot different than what's happening.
It's disgusting. Come on. I mean,
but that's to be expected with government. That's the typical way of doing things is you got to bribe the state agents, and that's what licensing fees are in the United States. They're just glorified bribes.
Yeah.
They don't generally go directly into the pocket of the bureaucrat who's assessing or, assessing the fines against you, but they benefit from those fines in the long run.
Yeah, this isn't any kind of libertarian project. I'm not preaching to Ndafuna very much about government bureaucrats or anything like that. And his grasp of the language isn't good enough to be able to have those conversations very well. He can talk about cement and iron bears.
Okay, bars.
Iron bears.
Yep, it's cute. Do they have bears in Africa?
I imagine they've got some kind of bear someplace in Africa, but Africa's a darn big continent.
Sure is.
I certainly can't speak to what's going on in Uganda.
All right, let's continue.
I know that Lake Tanganyika has some very interesting cichlids, though.
So if you want to donate to that and have your donations double matched, meaning basically tripling the money coming into the project, you then go to hope.freetalklive.com. And will you take things besides Bitcoin as far as donation?
Oh, absolutely. I've got, I believe I've got Bitcoin and Dash right up at hope.freetalklive.com.
But what about PayPal? Or
Yep, got PayPal.
Okay.
Got, you could even do a money order if that's what you want to do. There's a variety of options. We had a good friend of the show that you're familiar with sent a check for $500. That was really cool. And so there's all kinds of ways. Just get a hold of me if you want to do something else.
Something alternative, sure.
Yeah.
Let's go to Stefan, or back to Stefan in Ohio. Go ahead, Stefan.
I really do wish you luck on that project. It's a very good cause.
Thank you.
Because children do need a home, no matter how you stand on the political spectrum.
Yeah, I just want to be able to wash their face and go to school,
Yes. Now, on the subject of healthcare, I noticed you guys have a sponsor, Health Excellence Select. Do any of you use that by any chance?
I have used them. Yep.
And are you continuing to use them, or did you find something else?
Well, it's not that I'm not using them. It's that as far as we have a health savings situation going on, so I use them to be able to say I use their product. I use them without sort of notifying the higher ups so that I got the experience all the way through. But I mean, I'm not going on with it at this time because I don't want to burden other people with a health sharing situation when I can cover myself.
Oh, does any doctor take that? I've considered it for a while, but
they all do.
Yeah, because it's like paying in cash.
Okay.
It's essentially that, as I understand it. It's the effectively paying in cash.
So basically, everybody puts money into like a giant, fund, and then when somebody needs it, they, just have the doctor bill that.
You would be best off talking directly to them because there's certain terminology that they use. But yeah, that's basically I agree. Basically, I concur with what you say.
I've told a lot of people about health sharing in the past, and I've given the rundown of how it works, and they've compared it to like a miniature free market single payer system. It seems like they're comparable in a way.
I guess.
No. I mean, how is that anything like single payer?
It wouldn't be single payer means single payer, but it's a single payer for you.
Right. I mean, there can be different organizations like this that are out there competing, and single payer is by definition the only one in the market. Stefan, as always, thanks for the call tonight. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Is that Ellen painting her garage?
Yesterday she was trimming her hedges.
What's her secret?
I heard she was eating this new super berry called the aronia berry.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where can we get them?
Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait. I've got lots of projects I need to get done.
Yes, you do.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us here on the radio waves. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, where you can take control of those airwaves and bring up anything that you want. In the studio with you, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
If you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, you should join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low and transactions are fast, and they can even be confirmed instantly if you want. You can pay anyone anywhere in the world anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash, even you, and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to Dash.org and find out why. As we go to the story that Melanie had brought in here tonight about churches and grants from the government. Apparently, there's no problem, according to, is it a court?
The Federal Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court handing down a decision saying churches can apply for grants and receive them from the government. Is that right?
Well, and that the government has to give it to them. So
oh my.
I'm sorry?
I said, oh my.
Yeah, so a couple of days ago, on June 26th, the Federal Supreme Court in Trinity Lutheran Church of Columbia versus a bunch of people and Missouri Department of Natural Resources. So there was a church that was apparently running a playground with the grounds made of gravel, which just seems like a horrible idea to me from the start. But that's what they were doing.
Teach kid that life is tough.
I guess. So the state of Missouri decided that it was their prerogative to give grants to schools, daycare centers, and some other nonprofits to redo playgrounds, not floors, but grounds, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
With recycled tire rubber floors.
Yeah, if you've ever seen this.
Those are cool.
Yeah, it's just better. You know, I mean, I've been to more playgrounds in the last 9 years than I had in the previous 30 or so. And, you know, I mean, these recycled grounds are really awesome. It's
kind of bouncy, right?
A little more, right? Like if you fall off the monkey bars.
It's not going to be as tragic.
It's not going to be as tragic. And
especially like compared to gravel.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, just seems like a massive improvement.
That is a big improvement, for sure.
So they had a program where you applied, and they had some kind of ranking system based partially on how many people it would affect in need of the organization. And they didn't go into all that, but they seem to have some, in this opinion anyway, but they seem to have something like that, to where if you were one of these organizations and you wanted to redo your grounds in this material, the state of Missouri would pay for it.
Yeah.
Even if there were a church.
No.
So a church, the Trinity Lutheran Church, applied and said, we would like a grant to redo our playgrounds.
Hey, we've got a playground. You're redoing playgrounds. Why not our playground?
And the state of Missouri said, yeah, you're a church. Bye.
Yep. Which is the right decision, I think. They should have been told to buy.
Right.
Yeah, because the church is supposed to be separate from the state. The churches don't have to pay taxes.
At this point, all we know is that they own the playground.
No, they were so. And now this is an important distinction that I think that was kind of lost on some people I was arguing with on Facebook. This is not a daycare center that was affiliated with a church. This was a church that happened to own a playground and also ran as a church, which means none of the income was taxable or even auditable, a daycare center.
Right.
So the daycare uses the playground, but everybody else can use the playground when the daycare isn't using the playground, kind of thing?
They hinted at that. They didn't outright say it in the opinion, and I didn't dig deep enough to find that out.
So I went to a Christian school when I was growing up. That Christian school had a playground. When we weren't at school, anyone in the neighborhood could come and play on the playground.
That's part of being a good neighbor and, you know, working with the community, right?
I'm not sure that that's true everywhere with all schools.
I feel like they hinted at that. They didn't outright say it in the opinion, but I feel like that's what they wanted you to believe, which to me almost makes me want to not believe it, but I don't know.
It's pretty common that people will allow, neighborhood church or whatever will allow the neighborhood kids to play on their playground. I mean,
wait
that's
until it
common.
starts getting tagged by, would-be gangsters and see whether or not that's going to stick around for very long.
Okay, well, I guess it could, be prohibited somehow. They could put up gates and barbed wire.
Gates around. Go back to your hometown of Sarasota, Florida, and see if every playground doesn't have a gate around it.
Is that right? Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a playground that didn't have a gate around it.
All right.
Right. Ian doesn't go to playgrounds.
Nope.
So what's he know?
Neither do I, but I could drive by and see them.
He just doesn't pay attention to them.
Yeah, they don't
There's
exist.
a really weird one on the Mass New Hampshire border where there's like a stone boundary to mark the border. But,
okay. That's a big thing up here with their stone boundaries. So, so this playground owned by the church, run by the church daycare center.
It's not to be nitpicky, but it's not technically accurate to say it's run by the church. It's part of the church.
What's the difference?
Okay, so you can have a separate entity. If a church wants to open an LLC, or not an LLC, well, I guess they could do that too, but if a church wants to open a 401(c), they can do that. They can open a charity. The Catholic Church has Catholic Charities, which is a separate organization.
Yeah.
It's run as a regular charity. Their books are open. They have to do charitable work to maintain that status, and they get all the benefits of any other charity. There are other charities and schools, nonprofit schools, that are affiliated with churches, and you can do that. This was one entity. The entity was the church. It had a church, like the actual physical building where they did like church services.
Right.
And
they don't pay
ran
taxes.
Daycares, right.
And they don't pay taxes
on any of it.
So if you want the government benefits, then you should have to kind of be paying into the government system, right? If you don't want to pay taxes.
Wait a second. When governments go around and look, churches aren't the only organization that don't pay taxes, right?
Sometimes schools don't pay taxes.
Not for profits. Okay, and schools were getting. Am I wrong here, Melanie? Schools were getting the benefit of the playground, bonus money that the state was sending out. So why should the school be treated any different?
Oh, schools were getting, yes.
Schools are run by the state.
No, they're not, Ian. There's lots of schools that aren't run by the state that have playgrounds open.
All schools aren't nonprofits, and even schools that are nonprofits have to go by the rules of nonprofits in order to maintain that status. They have to actually provide services. They have to open their books so that you can see that they're providing services and you can see that they're, not that they're not wasting the money, because a lot of them have
right. So some are
administrative.
Some aren't.
This is
Ian, I got a church that, in one hand, you have a church that has a playground, right?
Okay.
On another hand, you have a school that has a playground. The school is a secular private school, and they get the money from the state. Can you tell me why the church, which is a non-secular organization with a playground, should not get it?
I don't think either of them should. If they're not paying into the system, they shouldn't be getting benefits from the system.
The system was giving out this stuff because people want to play at parks.
Well, and nonprofits only mostly don't pay taxes. Churches don't pay taxes.
So when do nonprofits pay taxes? Like on property taxes, or
they have, which it's not called this, but the simplest way to explain it is a property tax on investments.
Okay.
So if they don't spend all the money, they get taxed for not spending it all, even if it would make sense to save it for next year. They have payroll taxes. And they still have to do filings, which is expensive, and they're kind of tedious. So that is kind of an indirect tax that churches don't have to do.
Right, they've got to open their books, and the churches don't have to.
It's kind of like the nonprofits are kind of in the system and having to deal with all this, and the churches are in the wonderful position of being allowed to operate outside of the system.
So don't ask for favors. If you're if you're able to not pay property taxes, if they're forcing the church to pay property taxes, then I say go ahead and give them the
church
grant.
is likely a 501c3.
There's more coming up. Free
You've
talk.
probably heard about Bitcoin and virtual currencies, but you don't really know what to do next. Maybe you feel like they have already passed you by. Nothing could be further from the truth. Bitcoin is an emergent technology still. It's still in beta and it is sweeping the globe. All the information that you need to learn about Bitcoin is at bitcoin.com. Go to your browser, type in bitcoin.com, choose a wallet program, get Bitcoins, and then spend Bitcoins. Bitcoin.com, the only site you need to know for virtual currencies. Bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio waves. Bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio tonight, and Melanie has been telling us about a news story at the Supreme Court ruling. I guess we haven't really gotten to exactly what their ruling was. We've just sort of been dancing around the story, talking about churches and should they be able to get should they be able to get grants from the government? That's what this court case was all about, specifically in relation to a grant that was being offered to pay for new grounds on playgrounds, meaning that they would be replacing, in this case, gravel with the chunked up tire pieces that they sort
recycled
of
tires
recycled
that have the radial pulled out of them.
Yeah, and they make that into like sort of a semi-bouncy base for the kids to run around on or whatever. And so apparently some church had applied for this grant. The state had denied it, and then they appealed to the Supreme Court.
Right. So, and it to me,
And you're an atheist.
Yeah, and it does seem kind of, I guess, I don't know, distasteful, unfair, something to have an entity who's allowed to operate outside the system, who's not being stolen from, to then go and take tax money. Now, it's still not theft as far as I'm concerned, because it's unowned property, it's homesteadable. It just feels wrong.
What's not theft?
So if someone who is not a tax victim goes and takes government money.
Okay.
It's unowned property, it's home. Now that seems like kind of wrong. Maybe it's wrong on other grounds. Like I wouldn't go work for RT because I was never stolen from Russia. So I would feel weird taking that paycheck, even though it's technically unowned property.
Oh,
Maybe
I see what
it's
you're
morally
saying.
wrong on other grounds. I don't know, but that's not really the problem I have.
I don't
with
have a
this.
problem. If RT offered to pay us money,
Russia Today, the
Russia Today, thank you.
television program.
If RT came to us, and our radio stations don't pay us to run the show, we do a trade deal with them. But if for whatever reason RT were to say, we want you Free Talk Live guys so much, we're going to give you $100,000 to be on our network. We could keep doing the show. Yeah, $100,000 each.
Okay, what about my co-hosts? I've got co-hosts.
Yeah, the $100,000. They're going to do $1 million for all the co-hosts and everything.
Or paid you to do an interview, or paid you to blog, or something.
Yeah, I mean, would you really turn it down?
I don't see how I can take that. Like, I would want the platform, but I don't see, like, Russia has never stolen money from me. I don't see how I can. Yes, it's homesteadable because it's a fungible, unowned good, but it just feels like it. And maybe this isn't logic.
But you can use it to undermine the state.
Like
you can use it.
That should go to someone who has been stolen from Russia.
I get what you're saying, but it's going to go to somebody, right? Like they're going to either hire you, or they're going to hire Larry King, or they're going to hire. I think they've hired Larry King. I'm giving you examples of people they've hired. Ed, what's his name?
Schultz.
Ed Schultz. Yeah,
Tom Hartman.
They're Tom Hartman. Adam Kokesh was on that network for a while. Libertarian activist who's been on our show.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely go on the network.
So you'd appear as a guest, but you wouldn't want to take money from them? What's the difference? They're still paying money to provide you with the airtime. If you're going to sit there and be a guest on a show, you're one of their talking heads on one of their news shows or something like that, and they have you on for comment. That still benefits you. You're promoting your accounting services or whatever, or yourself.
Why would it be? I wouldn't fly there to promote accounting services. I would
but
fly
it wouldn't
there
hurt
to
if you mentioned it.
promote anarchy.
But that's the idea. That's what's so funny about RT is like, yeah, it's a Russian government-funded operation, but on the other hand, they are trying to undermine the American government. I mean, it's pretty clear from their editorial views on that network that they are vicious critics of the United States government.
Well,
on that
I think that they are
channel.
willing to make critiques that other organizations aren't.
And it makes them look like, something special because of that.
Well, there's plenty of other news agencies that are willing to make the same sort of stories. Russia Today is well funded.
They're well funded.
Yeah, so they're doing a lot and they're getting a lot of press. But if you look at Al Jazeera and you look at Der Spiegel, you look at a variety of other, even the British press does a pretty good job on reporting on the United States. I like to look at press agencies. I don't look at them for themselves. Like I wouldn't read Russia Today for their news on Russia. That would be useless.
Idea.
Al Jazeera for their news on Qatar would be useless. But I think that even the stuff that I've seen from the North Korean state news agencies, it actually has contained within it some interesting and what I consider to be valuable critiques of the United States government.
Yep.
These people are insane, but the critiques are not so bad.
No doubt about it. So just to clarify, you would appear as a guest, but you would not host your own show for pay.
That's what I'm leaning towards, and I'm not. I don't have this necessarily as solidified as I do some of my other beliefs.
Would you lean as heavily if they came up with $500,000?
See, and that's the thing, but that's not really relevant to the moral question. Like, I don't see how I could do that. But
what if you got a letter from a poor Russian woman that said, please take this money, I've been robbed, and I can't get my own. This is a terrible Russian accent. I can't get my own back, but you could get it, and you could take it and use it for good. Please take it.
Well, see, now at that point, you have an assignment of a right.
Okay, it's true.
I see. Okay.
But she's right.
She usually is.
I will just fake a Russian letter to her once the situation comes. I'll get some Russian friend to find me.
Russian letter written in English.
In bad Russian.
Yeah, and I mean, if somebody has a better argument on this than this just doesn't feel right. I mean,
sure, you can call in.
Yeah,
toll-free
like
number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
But yeah, so I mean, that was more of a disclaimer thing on my part. Like, yes, this does feel wrong for that reason, but that's not my problem with this case.
Mm-hmm.
So then the church, who apparently didn't have enough money for a playground floor, they might have not hired the lawyer, because a lot of the times nonprofits will get those for free if it was like an attorney who went to that church or something.
Okay.
Then went and got a lawyer, sued the state, and then fought it up to the Supreme Court.
It's expensive.
So they didn't just apply for the grant. They went all in on this.
So the Supreme Court, what was their decision?
The Supreme Court said that the state of Missouri had to give them the grant.
Wow.
Because the only reason they didn't give them the grant was because they were a church, and that discriminated against the religion.
I think that's a legitimate critique. So they're not using. This isn't about separation of church and state.
It should be, though.
This is not promoting a religion. This is putting tires down at a.
It's giving somebody a benefit who doesn't deserve it.
Money is a fungible good. So if they don't have to pay for their own playgrounds, then they have more money to do core church stuff, whatever that happens to be for them, pews or altars or whatever.
In many cases, taking care of the poor and feeding people that that come to them and things like that too. Churches do a great deal of good, and when the government is giving out money to other organizations for their playgrounds, why not this place for their
and the other
playground?
Organizations also kind of have accountability that the church doesn't. Not that the government is the best overseer of accountability, but if one of the schools or a daycare affiliated with a church or another nonprofit took the money and went and spent it on booze, A, they'd know about it, and B, there'd be hell to pay.
Because, as you're saying, the books have to be opened in another nonprofit.
If a church did that, nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
As long as they got the playground, if they, spent half of it on the playground and half of it on going to the casino, no one would even know.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to say, and this is not the argument, at least that the Supreme Court addressed, I didn't read the briefs, so I don't know what arguments they made. So for them to say, we will give money if you're proving that you use it this way, is an entirely reasonable position. You can't say, I'm funding a part of a church and not another part of it. Money is fungible. That doesn't make any sense. But the real problem with this case is that you had outside status. You're giving
outside the system
status. You're giving that up, not just for you. You screwing everybody over in order to get a playground to be finished.
Yeah, I think it's the equivalent of doing a deal with the devil for a religion. Now, I mean,
I'm not claiming it's not that, Ian, because I do believe that once it's my understanding that most churches are 501c3 organizations, and that they are doing some kind of taxes.
They're
for
doing
the
some kind of deal with the devil. They're not doing taxes.
And they shouldn't be. If they're a major religion, if they're Christian, Islam, Jewish, something that's going to be recognized, they have no reason to do that.
But every lawyer will tell them that they should because
then every lawyer is committing malpractice because that is ridiculous.
Well, really? there's a lie that goes around that they need to have 501c3 in order to accept tax-deductible contributions, which is false.
That is not true.
Correct. It's not true.
It's just not true.
But that's what
Yeah.
they want you to believe, so you'll hire them to take the church through the 501c3 process. 855 450 free, like freedom. But again, you're asking for a favor from the devil,
they're
basically.
gonna this is not free. They're gonna come back later.
There's more. Great point. There's more on the way here. We can discuss, and you can as well. It's Free Talk Live. Well, there was supposed to be a commercial there, and maybe it'll
It's
come
a
up. There it
no-brainer.
is.
A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original, most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, July 3rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,232 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,507. Antiwar.com reports fighting between Syrian forces and rebels along the Jordanian border saw some cross-border fire when, during the Syrian military airstrikes against the rebels, 3 of the missiles flew wide of the conflict and landed inside Jordanian territory. Rebels control the border crossing on the Syria side in the Daraa province. The Jordanian military confirmed the incident, saying that the 3 missiles fell inside of their territory and caused a small fire. A local Jordanian government Facebook page claimed a doctor was slightly injured in the situation as well, but did not say how. Jordan has hosted some U.S. arming and training of Syrian rebels, but has for the most part tried to stay out of the war. This was comparatively easy when the region along the border was completely rebel-dominated, but is getting harder and harder to pull off as the Syrian government aims to recover its southernmost territory. Though there are still substantial rebel presences in the Daraa province, which is where the civil war started all those years ago, the largest rebel strongholds in the country are now exclusively in the north. As the government tries to reclaim the south, it's going to risk putting a lot of fighting right along the border. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was photographed at the beach just days after closing them to the public due to a state government shutdown over the budget. New Jersey Advanced Media took aerial photos of the governor on the beach with his family outside of the state-funded governor residence at Island Beach State Park. When asked if he got any sun at a press conference on Sunday, Christie said he did not, but he later clarified his statement and said he was going back and forth between the beach residence and the state capitol in Trenton. Reporters asked Christie why he should be allowed to visit the beach when it's closed for everybody else. He answered, "That's because the governor has a residence at Island Beach. Others don't. It's just the way it goes. Run for governor, and you can have the residence." More than 50 state parks, historic sites, and recreational areas, including beaches, were ordered closed by Christie on June 30th due to a state budget disagreement between him and the state assembly. The closures are expected to remain until after the July 4th holiday. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports an Amtrak train with more than 250 people aboard derailed on Sunday near Puget Sound in Washington state, injuring several passengers, although no one was believed to have been seriously hurt, according to local fire officials and the rail service. Amtrak said the locomotive and baggage car of Train 506 on the Amtrak Cascades Lane, running between Vancouver, British Columbia, and Eugene, Oregon, left the tracks at Chambers Bay Bridge, just south of Tacoma. The West Pierce Fire and Rescue Department said the first 4 cars of the 15-car northbound train derailed. Images of the wreck posted by local media showed the engine lying on its side a short distance from the shore of Puget Sound near Chambers Bay Marina. Amtrak said in a statement the cause of the accident was still under investigation. Several of the 267 passengers on the train suffered minor injuries, but no casualties were reported and nothing serious, and none of the crew were hurt, according to Amtrak. The fire department said there were no significant injuries or fire during the incident. Amtrak said all passengers were evacuated and emergency responders were on the scene, adding that travelers were being provided with alternative transportation. Seattle area news outlet Como News reported that authorities dispatched rescue boats and a dive team to the area as a precaution, but there was no indication that anyone ended up in the water. Firefighters also deployed floating oil-absorbent booms in the water in case of a fuel spill, but none occurred, according to the fire department. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The manatee is a solitary creature, drifting along in the warm, peaceful shallows. They are not usually held in a small glass enclosure with 3 other male manatees hell-bent on the violent, forced sex that I, for real, saw with my own eyes while alone one night at SeaWorld, San Diego. A distant relative of the elephant, the manatee has a prehensile upper lip which it uses to gather food. It also has a large penis. Classified as endangered, human boaters often cause serious wounds to manatees' flippers, rendering it difficult for this one poor little rescue manatee to escape a large male manatee intent on unwanted anal intercourse. One needed not to look in that little manatee victim's cold, soul-sapped eyes to know this was not the first time this had happened, nor would it be the last.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. We're launching into the 3rd hour of the program. You can dial in toll-free and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. Should churches be able to receive grants from the government? According to a recent Supreme Court case, they should, but I disagree. I don't think they should, and I'm somebody who is a minister in a church. We also have Melanie on here. I'm Ian Freeman. Melanie's with us, and Mark. Melanie, you're an atheist, so you're on my side on this one, right?
Right, I don't think they should. I think we might have different reasons. It's it's more icky than that I have an actual rational argument that they're not paying in, so therefore they shouldn't get it.
That's not
But
your argument, or that is your argument?
It's not.
Okay.
That's kind of a disclaimer I'm going to make. Like, yes, that does seem distasteful to me, but the problem is nothing is free. They're not just giving churches money and be like, oh, here's a couple $1,000. I don't want anything for this piece. That's not what's happening. They're going to want something. I don't know specifically what they want. So it's going to be some form of control.
Mm-hmm.
It might be taxation later.
It's often that.
I don't want them to be taxed. Definitely don't want them to be controlled or intermingled with each other. This sets that up.
The potential for future taxation and control.
Right. So once you go ask for something from the government,
right,
they'll give it to you. It'll be the most expensive thing you ever bought, but they'll give it to you. So why an entity that was already allowed to live its life outside of the system went begging to be let in and then drug everybody else with it? I mean, because it's not like there's going to be a law, oh, well, this Lutheran church in Missouri, they have to follow these regulations, but nobody else does. Like, no, everybody's going to have to.
Yeah.
So why they would do that to themselves and the rest of the country for a playground floor.
How much does ground up tire cost? It can't be that expensive. It's garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was important to anybody in the surrounding area, they'd have it. They don't have it.
Right.
Either they're mismanaging their funds,
right,
or
go to the congregation.
They don't have the funds.
Pass the plate. That's how churches raise money for things. So have a bake sale. There's all kinds of ways.
And if they're mismanaging their funds, then they need to stop doing that and not taking money from the government to make up for it. If they're not mismanaging their funds and they don't have enough funds, that's the market telling you no.
Right.
Well, I mean, people don't like to be told no, and if the funds are sitting out there, that's why they took it. I agree that
they don't have any principles, whoever these people are.
Well, yeah, why would they?
Well, they do have principles.
Yeah,
this is not the anarchist church.
Yeah.
This is not the anarchist Lutheran church. It's just Lutheran church.
True.
They might very well have principles. They're just not the same as ours.
They're just not Ian's.
Well, I think that. Well, okay. So the Shire Free Church, which is the organization that runs this show. We founded it as a free church back in 2013. 2013, 2012. Anyway, several years ago at this point. And the idea was that it was going to be part of the free church movement. And the free church movement, not in any sort of official capacity, we're not allied with any of the other free churches. But we selected that terminology because there is a group of churches out there who do understand that by accepting a benefit from the state, you are essentially contracting with an evil religion, that the state is an evil organization, and to ask them for a favor, to accept whatever it is that they're offering, and as Melanie's pointed out here, it's usually going to come with some sort of string attached. Maybe not initially, maybe down the road.
When the longer you have to wait, the more expensive it's going to be.
And one of those strings is your independence. You are losing your independence from the state. I mean, in theory, they should leave churches alone. They don't always. We've seen with the city of Keene that they have denied the Shire Free Church's tax exemption requests. We've never really gone all the way to the mat with that, just because we're always so busy with other projects that it hasn't been a priority for us here. But we've been acknowledged as a church by the state government. In multiple ways, we're able to to effect a marriage. We were able to certify community service hours in state courts. So I mean, there's definitely some acknowledgments that that we are a nonprofit, that we are a church, and even when the state police arrested me a few years ago, they referred to me as a minister of the Shire Free Church in their press release. So I took that as a compliment.
It's fine. It's fine acknowledgement as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and so the idea was, you don't take the benefits from the state. You don't ask them for anything because you want to be completely separate from them. You don't want to be part of their system. Why do we have a nonprofit? Okay, well, the reason why is because we founded the church first without any kind of incorporation paperwork. And then we decided that in order to get along in this society, we would love to have our own separate society where we don't have to deal with the government people. But because the government people insist that we deal with them, we have to have a way to, let's say, own a piece of property. and you therefore have to have some sort of incorporated entity in order
You have to
do
communicate with them,
Right.
and they speak bureaucraties.
Right, they speak corporate. And so we formed a nonprofit. The nonprofit is not the church. The nonprofit is just a thing, a government-created legal fiction that we have in order to interact with.
Which is what this church could have done. They could have had a nonprofit daycare center, and then they would have had to follow all the rules of.
Even then, I would say that they
nonprofits.
shouldn't be taking the benefits.
Well, right, and it's a bad idea for any organization to take any government benefits because it's going to come with a cost. It's not government free stuff. It's government exchange of stuff.
Well, in our case, the nonprofit to them is a church. Like they see it as that's the church. We see it as this is our little file folder that allows us to own property as a church, right? So the file folder is not the church. It is just a thing, a legal fiction that the church has control over.
And I think that historically that's a pretty accurate view of it.
Of a church having a nonprofit?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas some churches will initially file the nonprofit when they create their church. They consider that to be their church. They consider the 501c3 to be part of their church. And so we reject the idea of the 501c3. We reject the idea of we want to incorporate as little as possible, basically, to do as little sort of inside their system as we can possibly do in order to sort of get along in life and benefit the community from our religious viewpoint. So anyway, if you want to learn more about the Shire Free Church, you can go to church.shiresociety.com. As we go to Dave in San Francisco, you're on Free Talk Live, listening online. Hello, Dave.
Hey, greetings.
Hey there.
I hope your Independence Day will be just fine.
We'll be here live.
Sure. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll give you a play-by-play on the fireworks.
Let's not.
You know what I was going to look at was the idea that America doesn't hand out nonprofit status just willy-nilly. You're supposed to provide some public good.
Right.
And that public good is supposed to be for everybody, across age lines, racial lines, religious lines. It's supposed to provide, if this playground is supposed to be paid for with tax dollars, then Buddhist kids and Christian kids and atheist kids are supposed to be able to use it.
Great point. So
And
that's one of the controls,
there
right?
was some indication that was the case.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
they
that
said
is.
that clearly. So
Well, the
just
church is letting people use it, but what I think the point he's making is, let's say the church wanted to restrict access to the playground. What he's saying is, if they take money from the government, they got to open it up to everybody, and that might offend somebody in certain churches who might have, vehement disagreements with other people of other religious viewpoints. Is that what you were pointing out, Dave?
Well, it's not just offend. It's the idea that basically the church becomes a welfare chief. They accept money for a given purpose. The city is not supposed to be handing it out, whether it's a county, a city, or the federal government. They're not supposed to be handing out money to somebody that's going to provide. Let me just give you an example. I come from St. Louis, and back in the 50s and 60s, and even into the 70s, for that matter, when I was past teenager.
Hold your story, Dave. We're going to come back to you here in a moment. Our toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Yeah, there's going to be strings attached, whether you realize it or not, when you ask the government for a benefit. So you probably should avoid it, because then you just become part of them. It's Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
One nutritional secret is that due to soil infertility, plants are not making the percentage of mineral sugars that they did before the advent of chemical agriculture. These mineral sugars are measured in the juice of a plant. The more sugar, the more minerals, proteins, fatty acids, vitamins, and phytochemicals. According to some experts, these mineral sugars are what activate the DNA of our body to be efficient at making protein. Due to an absence of enough of these mineral sugars in our plant foods today, our bodies require 40% more protein. One World Whey is a technologically enhanced whey protein food that can supplement the protein needs of your diet. It is easy to assimilate and it tastes delicious. However, its most attractive feature is that people from ages 3 to 80 are having phenomenal improvements in health. People are reporting vast improvements in energy and well-being that last for 4 hours or more from a single serving. Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
Do you know the difference between erudite and pedantic? If you do, you're probably pedantic. But seriously, a surprising number of erudite people mispronounce erudite, which has 3 syllables, not 4. Say erudite, not erudite. Because you are judged by how you speak, you want to avoid common misstatements, especially if you're a job seeker. For instance, do you know the difference between imply and infer? Only a speaker can imply. Only a listener can infer. And when you say you'll be out of pocket, do you mean out of touch? Out of pocket means you're on your own dime, not yet reimbursed. And if anyone ever asks, why do you always answer a question with a question? You should reply, do I do that? Just kidding. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here and get on the radio to talk about whatever's on your mind. We've got other stuff to share with you, and we'll do that coming up here, but we're going to go back to the phones and to the fun. But first, I do want to tell you about Jax. It is the official wallet of Free Talk Live. It allows you to hold on to multiple cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ether and Dash and more. Go to jax.io, jaxx.io. You can download it for your Google device or iOS, as well as your laptop if it's on Mac, Linux, or Windows. There's also browser plugins for Firefox and Chrome, and it's all free. So give it a try over at jax.io, jaxx.io. It was created by Anthony Diorio, and he put in shapeshift integration, which means that you can easily change from one of your cryptocurrencies into another one. Let's say you want to try out some Ether rather than Bitcoin or Dash. You can move your Bitcoin into any of those other things on Jax, and it's very easy to do that.
That makes it basically the only decentralized exchange available out there in the cryptocurrency world.
It was created by, as I said, Anthony DiOrio. He's a listener of Free Talk Live. He's one of the founders of Ethereum, and they made it easy to back up your wallet and recover funds with Jax. They're striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live, jaxx.io. We've been talking about the churches that are buddying up to the government, asking for favors, asking for money. In this case, the Supreme Court recently ruled that a state government does have to hand out a grant for a brand new crushed up tire floor for the playground at the church. And Dave is on the line in San Francisco. Dave, you were trying to ramp up to a story of some sort, but we had to hit that break there. So go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, sure, no trouble. Yeah, I used to sell ads, so by gosh, the show must go on.
Sure.
And the ads must be sold. You know, St. Louis, when I was a kid, was a very bigoted city, hugely bigoted. There was a huge Catholic contingent in the Board of Aldermen. There were Protestants in certain parts of town did not get their potholes fixed.
Okay.
The blacks in certain parts in North St. Louis did not get their potholes fixed. The fire department would show up sometimes, and sometimes it wouldn't show up. So when you look at America in 1776, the issues were united you stand, divided you fall, equal justice under the law, and taxation with representation. So what was interesting about St. Louis was the black part of town, North St. Louis, was actually more prosperous, according to tax data. The North St. Louis and the black part of town was actually more prosperous than the rest of the city, yet they got worse treatment. They didn't get their sewers cleaned out. They didn't get the gutters swept with the street sweepers. They didn't get power poles repaired, and every other aspect of normal civil government was not handed out in equal or even proportional representation for various sections of town, whether you were Protestant, whether you were Catholic, whether you were black or Irish or Italian. Various neighborhoods did not get equal justice. And in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed. It was during Lyndon Johnson. And the city of St. Louis actually commissioned a report. It was called the Team 4 Report. If I remember right, you could probably still see it in the St. Louis Public Library because it was a public report. And it tried to figure out how they could cheat various sections of town after the Civil Rights Act. And it talked about denying street sweeping to the north part of St. Louis.
Well, that sounds right for a lawsuit.
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
it wasn't really the time for that, but yeah.
Yeah, that lawsuit went on for 10 or 20 years.
Jeez.
But at the same time, the Board of Aldermen was shutting down. St. Louis had, if I remember right, it was 76 swimming pools in the entire city, various neighborhoods. There were indoor pools in public buildings. There were outdoor pools. They shut down every one of the swimming pools except for one in North St. Louis and one in South St. Louis. And they basically segregated them solely by only having two in the entire city. They shut down, rather than integrate the bathrooms, they shut them all down. Rather than integrate the drinking fountains, they shut them all off. It was amazing, and by the late 70s, I can remember Art Hill, right in front of the Art Museum in Forest Park. They used to have this beautiful fountain with colored lights on it, and then Sundays everybody'd go up and play, and boats in the lagoon and the whole thing. They shut down the boats. They shut down the fountain. They did everything they could do to intentionally drive blacks out of the city. They did everything they could do to drive whites out of the city. And this is a technique that actually Donald Trump took advantage of in New York City as well, because they cheated the whites by denying services, by shutting down drinking fountains and swimming pools and everything else. So they created the white flight.
Okay.
They forced whites to go out into the suburbs and buy a brand new house. Then they abandoned their old houses, and those got sold at 2 cents on the dollar to Donald Trump and his dad. So Donald Trump knows about this technique because he made his fortune taking advantage of this. It was actually written about in a book about organized crime in New York City called, if I remember right, it was a street address on Rose Avenue. So it's something like
hold on. How do you make money by destroying property values?
Because you essentially
because he bought
flip
it up at 2 cents on the dollar.
So, I mean,
and
you destroy it and buy it, and then sell
you
it
fix it
later.
And then you sell it.
No, you turn it in.
To
you
whom?
become a slumlord, and you never repair
Well, because
your
then
stuff.
you quit. Because then you quit destroying it after you buy it.
No, not really. Because if you read this book about Rose Avenue and what organized crime did in the technique, they would sell the houses to blacks, and then they would intentionally set them some time bombs in their mortgage portfolio so that they wouldn't be able to fully buy it. They'd lose it. The organized crime would end up taking their commissions. They'd get paid up front with commissions. Then they'd resell the house as many as 4 times per year. And it was an amazing scandal.
That sounds crazy.
Absolutely, but it's not unlike what happened with subprime just in 2006 through 2008 and whatnot.
Well, this is what happens when you give people power over others, is they will wield it to benefit their friends and punish their enemies. Thanks for sharing that, Dave. I appreciate the story tonight.
Interesting story.
Yeah, the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I don't always agree with Dave when he calls in, but he's always got a lot of history that he will regale us with, that is for sure. How much of it is accurate, I don't know, but he does seem to know what he's talking about. Anyway, the toll-free number, 855-450-3733. I don't understand why you would want to drive everybody out of a city, though. He was saying that, they were driving the blacks and the whites out. And
yeah, you're just finding a bunch of suckers to buy these houses over and over again. I do know that prior to sort of the welfare state that blacks had their section of town, they would have their black banks, they would have their black businesses, and that they did quite well. And then oftentimes people would set fires and do all kinds of things to undermine this.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live. Plus, Mark, you still want to read the Declaration of Independence. Maybe we can get into a little bit of it. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling, at home, or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape smoke hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off plus free shipping.
Free Talk Live.
To be free is to be clear-headed.
I do encourage people.
Somebody gets down and smokes a joint and gets high. They sit on the couch and they turn into a blob.
Yeah, well, I don't think you know much about people that smoke pot, Christy.
Right. Yeah, Christy.
They procrastinate. That's what you guys were talking about on your show tonight.
Cliche.
About legalizing
then Christy, then what I can say then is the people that don't smoke pot make sweeping generalizations, because you just did. It seems like the vast majority of humans use some kind of substance throughout their day or week.
Not Christy. She doesn't.
Well, what a sad state of affairs.
Do you have a cup of coffee in the morning, Christy?
And at this time in our history, if that's
we've always done it, Christy. It's been done throughout humans. People, how many people do you know, Christy, that can't function without a cup of coffee?
Well, you have to have a piece of bread to live, to survive.
We're not talking about food.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio on demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Just dial on in toll-free. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. Also, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, then please join the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And all you have to do is go and get signed up with any major credit card, PayPal, Bitcoin if you want. And that is $5 a month. That's all we're asking for. And the $5 is invested into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations, so we can bring new internet listeners on board and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. If that's worth $5 a month to you, the price of a hamburger or a fancy cup of coffee, then we would appreciate the support. And you can get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, AMP-only podcast, AMP-only forum, or excuse me, AMP-only Facebook group. And you do get a badge for Free Talk Live if you're on the new Free Talk Live forum. The forum's open to anybody, but you get the special Free Talk Live badge if you're a Free Talk Live amplifier. So go and get all the details and get signed up to help us out with the AMP program. Advertise, Market, and Promote is what AMP stands for. Go to amp.freetalklive.com as we go to Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Melanie, and Mark. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, so Toyota has announced that they're going to install the auto sensor brakes in all their cars by end of this year. So
what are the auto sensor brakes? Can you tell me about that?
Well, I mean, 17% of the cars already have those, so it's got sensors and cameras, and it brakes automatically.
Sounds dangerous.
Brakes automatically. What?
All of their new cars will have these built in automatically. That's what was announced. So I'm really thinking, are they really going to do it, or are they just going to talk about it? They've been talking about these auto sensor brakes for 7 years.
Well, this is not the kind of thing you want to rush, right? Like, you want to make sure that everything's good. If they've got them in 17% of their cars, then they're probably coming to the conclusion, their new cars, I should say, because I've got a Toyota and it's not in mine, that they're probably coming to the conclusion at this point that it's safe to put into all of them. But, it's kind of like, there's all kinds of features. I remember when ABS brakes came out, that first generation wasn't the greatest.
Well, yeah, the the thing is, either this, or like 40,000 people were killed at auto-related crashes last year.
More like 30.
So
but
what else is there? And
What?
then people don't like red light cameras. They fought those. They don't want to pay.
It doesn't really have anything to do with automatic braking systems.
Right, but so if you're trying to prevent deaths, you have to do something that actually prevents death. You can't just do random stuff and say, but people die.
According to the Toyota website, the pre-collision system, as they are calling it, that's their market speak for this thing that she's talking about. It has an in-vehicle camera and laser to help detect the vehicle in front of your vehicle. When PCS determines the possibility,
they're going to bring online the laser car system.
When they determine there's a possibility of a frontal collision with that vehicle is high, it will prompt the driver to take evasive action and to brake by using an audio and visual alert. If the driver notices the hazard and does brake, the system may provide additional braking force using brake assist. If the driver does not brake in a set time and the system determines that the possibility of a frontal collision with a preceding vehicle is extremely high, the system may automatically apply the brakes, reducing speed in order to help the driver reduce the impact and, in certain cases, avoid the collision.
Or to make you hit the car behind you.
The car behind you hit you.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, it sounds like good technology, but what happens if it breaks? And when I say breaks, I mean B-R-E-A-K.
When it breaks.
Yeah. What happens when the blue screen of death happens behind the scenes in whatever this computer is that is controlling the brakes, and all of a sudden it slams on the brakes in the middle of the interstate?
Then Toyota becomes responsible for the outcome.
It doesn't matter. You're still dead.
Yeah. Well, dead or alive.
You can sue Toyota all day long. That doesn't make me not dead.
Getting into a car is a scary and dangerous activity, whether or not that car is a Toyota with its braking capability. I would presume that the automaker that is known for some of the most reliable cars on the road,
I love Toyota. There's no doubt about it.
Is not probably going to just throw some willy-nilly system out there that hasn't been tested and that sort of thing.
Probably not.
I would presume that the newer the car, the safer the car, and the more Toyota, the safer the car.
Right, but even if it is a good feature in some way, it's going to break. It's a computer. So at some point, it is going to slam on your brakes because it thinks that you're going to drive into the house when the road's curved. This is only a bad idea.
Well, the thing is that I wonder if it's going to really make a difference. That's the thing. Will the auto fatality rate really go down drastically after they install this, or will it be about the same? This is all just kind of like a test trial. So all of the Toyotas will have these, but nobody will know exactly how well it works or don't work, or whether it's fail, like you guys say. What's the probability of a failure?
Well, it's 100%. The question is, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So this multinational mega corporation known as Toyota isn't going to put its reputation and legal
no, they're going to have it tested, no doubt, but that doesn't mean it won't fail.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be a sticker that says, bring this in for service after 10 years, and nobody's gonna, because if you're just bought a 15-year-old used car, you're not exactly looking to drop money at the mechanic, so people are still going to die. It's still a subpar feature.
Maybe it will work to reduce crashes. Maybe it will work to reduce fatalities. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just, I have some concerns about all this automatic stuff in cars. I like the idea of being the driver.
I want to drive the car, not the car drive itself.
Right.
Yeah, there's all kinds of automatic things in your vehicle that you have that you never think about at all.
Now that I have a new-ish vehicle, I have a 2007, there's some of that stuff.
You haven't been riding around in a 76 Jimmy up to this point, okay? I mean, you're not running on carburetors and, give me a break. There's a computer that runs just about every car from 1984 on. I'm just picking a date. today.
They put computers in back in the 80s?
There's a chip in just about all of them.
Right, but those computers didn't do everything. They didn't try
They
to
didn't
parallel
control
park
your
your
bar-
car
yeah.
for
Right,
you.
right.
They didn't control
They
how
didn't
you
control
drive.
your braking. They controlled other things. Like, why is it that you trust a car to have the ABS, the automatic braking system that your car currently has, that'll quickly tap the brakes when it slips? You're like, but Ian, but that will break at some point, right? And you've become reliant up to that point on that automatic braking system. You don't even know how to drive on ice, either one of you, but you're like, oh no, I couldn't possibly trust myself to ABS. Give me a break. Both of you.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of the little kids were run over as their parents were backing out of the garages. You know, how many kids ran out to get a ball?
Okay, that's not a car problem. That's a parent problem.
Sarah, thanks for the call tonight.
It's not like they can't see. The little kid that jumps out of the door and then runs out.
But they know they have a kid. It has to be somewhere. Where did they put it? That's where they left it.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. I'm with Melanie again on this one, Mark. I mean, you're coming down on the side of taking money from the state government to build a playground, and now you're saying you love all these automatic features in the car. Melanie, I'm on her side on this. I think that I don't know what automatic brake system is or whatever.
I know you don't.
ABS.
Have you driven a car without one? When you stop the car, it feels more, and it's probably not like this, but it feels more like you're actually physically stopping the car.
That's accurate.
Because pushing down, and I guess you can't see that on camera, but like pushing down how you normally push down on a brake is not going to stop a 2-ton piece of metal going 70 miles an hour.
That's power brakes that you're talking about. So ABS, what it does is it applies a sort of a rapid thumping to the brakes if the car slips. So if you're on ice, this can help you, or something slick, this can help you come to a stop. Your vehicle has it, Ian. Your vehicle has it, Melanie. My vehicle does not.
There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want.
You have probably heard about Bitcoin and virtual currencies, but you don't really know what to do next. Maybe you feel like they have already passed you by, but nothing could be further from the truth. Bitcoin is an emergent technology still. It's still in beta, and it is sweeping the globe. All the information you need to learn about Bitcoin is at bitcoin.com. Go to your browser, type in bitcoin.com, choose a wallet program, get Bitcoins, and then spend Bitcoins. Bitcoin.com, the only site you need to know for virtual currencies. Bitcoin.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, 855-450-3733. So, Ian, Melanie, and Mark here in the remaining moments of this episode of Free Talk Live. But if you have not heard the full episode, you can always go later tonight and download it from freetalklive.com. You can subscribe to our feed, our podcast feed, in your favorite podcast client, whatever that might be. A lot of people use iTunes, but personally I can't stand it.
If you do use your iTunes, make sure to vote us up there. We could use all the rankings and all that stuff because, you know,
we should ask for that more often.
We used to be really high on the iTunes rankings.
Not really. Not ever really.
Yeah, we did.
There was one time where we cracked into one of the top.
Yeah, you don't have any idea what you're talking about. You don't pay attention to the rankings.
You think about Podcast Alley? Because we were number one there.
I'm not. I said well ranked. Did I say number one? Because I don't think I did.
Are you talking about within the news talk category on iTunes?
Right. Well,
I don't
that's
think
the category
that
would be the one that I would be worried about. And now, essentially, basically every podcast that used to be NPR or is NPR
dominates.
Dominates over there. And I'm not saying that
they're popular.
They're good. They're darn good. There's no doubt. But as far as these things go, our listeners just don't pay that much attention to it because we don't ask them. So please do the rankings over there at podcasts or at iTunes. Excuse me.
Yeah, if you subscribe through the iTunes thing, and of course you can find our feeds, and the iTunes link is included on that feeds page. So if you're not sure how to find us in the program, you can just go to feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. You'll find all of our RSS feeds there for the various different ways you can listen later on to Free Talk Live. I agree. I got to say, I agree with Melanie, as she pointed out during the break, that okay, ABS brakes, that's fine. That only does something when you give it input. Then when you press the brakes, it assists you in doing that braking. Whereas what Sarah was talking about is some sort of computer that's just going to decide that you need to brake now and go ahead and apply the brakes, maybe when you weren't intending to, supposedly to avoid a collision. And maybe it'll work 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100. I don't know. Maybe it'll turn out to be a really handy and useful feature. But I got to say, I'm one of those people that I bristle at the idea of not having to drive. I kind of like it. I kind of like, being able to put your foot on the gas and feel the thing respond instead of having some sort of robot do everything for you. And I think that I'm probably not alone in that particular viewpoint. So I know that it was your prediction, Mark, that down the road a little ways, we're going to have some sort of prohibition on being able to drive anymore, and that everything's going to be auto cars or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that.
Well, you can look forward to it or not look forward to it. That's a prediction of the future that I think is very, very realistic.
What percentage of the drivers want that future. I bet it's a large percentage.
I don't really care. Argumentum ad populum, okay?
Well, no, population matters when it comes to making
does.
government laws and things like that.
Sure, it does. When the population has to make a decision between, we know what happens when you let the most prolific primate on the planet drive 3,000-pound deathmobiles, right?
Accidents happen.
30,000 deaths a year in this country. Is that that's a low number?
Not a whole lot. I mean, it's not a lot.
It's not a whole lot until it's somebody in your family.
No doubt. No
Okay,
doubt.
30,000 deaths a year. Then you let this the computer overmind take over.
Yeah,
and
Google.
let's say, what's that?
Google.
Well,
That's the
whomever it is,
overmind.
you know, they're going to work together. It's going to be several competing companies working together in all likelihood.
You think so?
On
Okay.
one sort of grid that comes online. I mean, we can all use cell phones, even when those cell phones are different, and they can work with these other vehicles. Let's say that they're able to cut deaths by, we'll go to 1,000 a year. So there's 1,000 a year.
Down from 30,000.
Down from 30,000 a year.
That'd be amazing.
It
No
would
doubt.
be an amazing number. Can you tell me at that point that you don't think you can get a majority of politicians, because it really doesn't matter what constituents think, a majority of politicians to say, yeah, that looks like a winner. We'll just go ahead and prevent people from being able to drive these old clunkers. You can, maybe.
I hope that never happens in New Hampshire. I want New Hampshire to be a place where people can choose how they get from point A to point B. Now, if you've got yourself a private road and you want to prohibit people from driving on it, that's your business. But as long as there's government roads, people should be able to get to where they need to go, how they need to get there.
I say let's leave the old cars to Cuba.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Mark is on the line. Mark calling on Skype. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Well, as it happens to be, I've actually helped contribute to writing a book on this topic.
Oh.
And have studied this quite extensively. So there's a whole lot of things that you guys are looking at incorrectly.
All right.
I don't want to say wrong, but you're looking at some of the evidence in a weird way. You're absolutely right that cars are a massive killer in the United States. It's one of the top 5.
Well, the cars
obviously,
just
the
sit there.
#1
It's usually the people behind them that do the killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 5
No,
minutes
actually, no, that's not entirely true. in this instance of a machine that can actually move on its own. So they can actually kill on their own. But yeah, people make
There's a
bad
movie
decisions.
about that. Anyway, go ahead.
So you're right. 30,000 people a year die from auto accidents. Now, so that's the really key point you got to start at. When she was saying it's going to fail 100%, well, yeah, but how often do humans fail?
Pretty often.
Right.
But they also write the code.
Right. Now, you don't really think about this way, and this is the part where I think people are looking at it wrong, is that that machine is code. It's mechanical code rather than software code, but it's still code. It operates in a certain way based on feed input from you and from other things, and it reacts to that input. No different from software code. So that's already going on at this point.
Right, and I understand that machines can malfunction, but I don't want them acting on their own. I don't think we're to that point yet, first of all.
They already do. And that's the thing that you're missing. They already do act on their own. They have motors in them. They're moving unless you tell them to stop.
Right, but they only start when I tell them to start. They
My
react
car
to
started on
input.
its own. The cruiser that I drove, toward the end of its life, you could take the key out of that thing and it would start.
Okay, but that's a malfunction. They're not
Right.
designed to do
It
that.
wasn't supposed
and
to
I
do that.
understand that there's
There's one of the
malfunctions.
key points she says about the design. So now this gets into whether they do it properly or not, but proper engineering would be to fail what's called fail safe or fail safely. If something was to fail, it should always fail to a state that is a safe state.
Right.
So rather than slamming the brakes on, it should do nothing in that case. Or actually probably a safer state would be to fail for the brakes to fail halfway. That's a much safer state. It slows the vehicle down, but doesn't throw you into the ditch. But it also doesn't allow
it smashes
to keep
into the toddler at a lower speed.
Well, no, it doesn't smash the
No,
toddler
I
at all.
understand.
That's the
I understand.
point.
God.
It's supposed to, so it should prevent you from doing stuff. And actually, that's the way Now, I don't know whether the people can actually do it this way, but this is the, and actually my book is actually based on a topic called predictive innovation, which I actually helped create. And there are certain ways that all technology progresses over time. And government is a technology, language is a technology. Everything that you use to do anything is a technology. And what we're going to be moving through is assisted humans. That's the next step.
Mm-hmm. That's the next step on the way to robot bodies, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so right now, no, I would not trust robots to be completely independent. Coders suck. They're not going to test the code properly. And that's the failure point again, the human.
The human.
And they're going, but once you get a machine right, it's always going to be right. It's just not going to fail for the ways that humans fail. Humans can have a bad day. They can be upset. They can be hungry. They can be tired. They can be distracted.
The robots could decide to kill us all.
They could just decide to kill somebody. Well, computers aren't going to do that.
What happens when artificial intelligence becomes self-aware and can upgrade its own intelligence?
You would have to program it to do that.
And can upgrade. Well, you can program it to become so smart that it can program itself, and then you hit the singularity or whatever.
Oh dear, Ultron's here, and he's going to wipe out the planet.
You're talking multiple generations out in the future for that kind of thing to happen. Okay, that's just not technologically feasible.
Maybe
anytime.
Who knows? It could happen in our lifetime.
Maybe. No, you said multiple generations. Yeah. That doesn't mean multiple human generations. You chooch. It means multiple computer generations.
Well, that's like 2 years from now.
Generations. Yeah, and it's not just little generations. It's
hey, Mark, what's your book that you wrote? What's your book called? Mark.
It's called Predictive Innovation.
Predictive Innovation.
Predictive Innovation.
And your name is Mark Profit?
Yeah.
With 2 F's and
That's
2
correct.
T's? Hey, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate the input. We're out of time, though, so anytime you want to jump in, feel free. I appreciate hearing from you. His first call here tonight.
And my deepest apologies. You had to talk to Ian about this.
Yeah, I don't know about all this automotive, like auto stuff.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep the freedom on the roads here in New Hampshire.
Keep on your
bicycle.
bicycle.
Coming up tomorrow.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, July 3rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,232 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,507. Antiwar.com reports fighting between Syrian forces and rebels along the Jordanian border saw some cross-border fire when, during the Syrian military airstrikes against the rebels, 3 of the missiles flew wide of the conflict and landed inside Jordanian territory. Rebels control the border crossing on the Syria side in the Daraa province. The Jordanian military confirmed the incident, saying that the 3 missiles fell inside of their territory and caused a small fire. A local Jordanian government Facebook page claimed a doctor was slightly injured in the situation as well, but did not say how. Jordan has hosted some U.S. arming and training of Syrian rebels, but has for the most part tried to stay out of the war. This was comparatively easy when the region along the border was completely rebel-dominated, but is getting harder and harder to pull off as the Syrian government aims to recover its southernmost territory. Though there are still substantial rebel presences in the Daraa province, which is where the civil war started all those years ago, the largest rebel strongholds in the country are now exclusively